So I'm really glad to see that a lot of Americans are realizing that you're not going to be able to change much by just protesting peacefully and just doing the readings and whatnot. And that is great. However, let me just remind you that the work on subjectivity has to be done simultaneously with any other kind of organizing efforts. It's a pity my past few videos did not really receive a lot of attention, just because I know the YouTube algorithms are weird. I don't think they've been favoring me much lately. But yeah, this is where I talked about subjectivity according to Burik, and individual subjectivity and collective subjectivity and class subjectivity. And all of this is necessary work to do at this moment as well, because people who are fragmented are not going to be able to do the revolutionary work, to do any kind of transformative work, because the work that is transformative has to also happen on the inside. Imagine if something really drastically changes tomorrow and we start creating something brand new, or you start, because I'm really far away from you. I'm not going to be there to help you. Imagine the people in your hometown. Imagine you're going to start building some kind of a better project. Do you think everyone's going to have everyone's interest in mind? Do you think you all are going to agree? Do you think you all are going to face the change the same way? And this should give you an answer as to why we need subjectivity. Because if people do not have class subjectivity, then no matter what kind of events happen, we're always going to circle back to restoration of capitalism. And this is why it is essential for communism to also be an ideology. Now, there is a whole discussion about whether communism has an ideology or if it's a purely scientific method. I don't really care to have this discussion. I am proposing that we do agree that, at least for a time being, we have a communist ideology. And the communist ideology is going to be the reflection of our needs and the solutions that are going to reflect the necessity. And people may be kind of weirded out by this definition that I suggested, a Hegelian definition of freedom as a realized necessity, or freedom as when you understand that your need can be fulfilled in many different ways, and then you choose not only selfishly and pragmatically, but you also choose according to your moral conduct, your belief system, etc. So this belief system has to be developed. And simply calling for people to be good and not to be greedy and not to be stupid is silly. It is not going to work. So what we have to do instead is we have to see the moments when we are together. We have to look at those moments where our desire and our need correlate, when they correspond, because Marina Burik is arguing that in this moment freedom may be born. Not always, but often you're going to be able to observe in yourself and others that almost everybody is going to agree that we all need food, water, shelter, etc. But what about other needs? What about educational needs? Because there is a lot of debate and discussion happening in here too, right? People think that, schools should not be mandatory. Other people say, no, any kind of education must be enforced, because otherwise people do not get opportunities. There are a lot of arguments that have to be addressed. Because, for example, if a person is advocating for schools not to be mandatory, they usually think that schools are authoritarian. They think that schools are going to impose their own will onto the children, and they want to protect the children. And when you understand that a person's coming from this premise, then this is what you have to address. You have to address these issues, not convince a person that this is not going to happen, but see if you and this person can come up with a plan so that doesn't happen. And the plan that is going to satisfy not just you or them, but both of you. And this is very hard to do. You're all probably sitting there saying that that's impossible. Yeah, it is hard work, but this is necessary work, because if we are never going to find those moments of correlation, of cooperatively creating something together, some kind of an ideal that we later are going to turn into reality, then what are we even talking about? We're not going to be able to force people into doing the right thing. We've got to address the issues underneath, because usually when people are fearful of authoritarian governments, it is a fear of an abandoned child. I know, everyone's going to be like, oh no, Freudo-Marxism, but that's just how it be. A lot of people have all these fears because they were not cared for properly when they were children. And I speak of this as somebody who worked with a ton of very, very neglected children. A video is going to be coming up on my background as an educator in an international school, so stay tuned for that. I have worked with a ton of children, and I have seen the process of children becoming very, very traumatized. I have seen what parental neglect does to children. I have seen it firsthand again and again and again over the course of 17 years. And I have seen the formation of those belief systems. So I'm telling you, without addressing those belief systems, any kind of a transformative change is going to unfortunately fail. That does not mean that we have to have everybody aligned with a future socialist project. No, that just means that we all have to sit there and talk and discuss and find where we can connect, not disconnect, where we can disagree and have leftist infighting and have blah, 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 and just part our ways and forget about it and let capitalism continue ruining our lives and the environment and the planet. So we have to find places where we can connect to people so that we can at least attempt to solve some of these root causes. We cannot solve these root causes for these people who may have grown up in neglect or abuse as children, but we can attempt to do that for the future generations. If we try to see the patterns, to notice the patterns and recognize them and analyze them and remember them, then it's less likely that these things are going to happen in the future. And we have to also be humble. We have to understand that as a single person, neither I, nor you, nor anyone in this world is going to be able to change people's minds and affect everyone's reality in a significant way. We've got to humble ourselves. We've got to be modest. We've got to understand that our work as individual actors is to do whatever we can. If we can make some little videos on the internet, let it be. If we can gather with comrades on a weekly basis and read some stuff and discuss it for 3 hours, so be it. If we can gather once a month and talk for maybe an hour, that's better than nothing. That's for sure. So again, small transformative change, small change can happen on an individual scale. You are not going to be able to reach millions upon millions of people. Maybe you will, but that's not necessary. What is necessary is that thousands upon thousands of subjects who are agents, meaning that they have actually gained a level of subjectivity, they have freed themselves from fragmentation, at least to an extent, those people all start talking to all those other subjects or subjects to be, and then working cooperatively together. So we don't need a single individual hero. We don't need a hero. We all have to be a part of the hero. We all have to be a part of this giant construction that supports each other in all these different ways. That does not mean that we're going to depend on each other at this moment. At this moment, we're all atomized anyway. Whatever happens in the future is none of our business, honestly. We need to do our part. We need to move humanity towards building socialism, at least a little bit. This is all that we can do. And in order to do that, we need to build our own subjectivity. If you're interested in learning more about subjectivity, individual, collective, etc., watch my videos on devirtualization. I'm going to put the links down below. Let me know what you think. I hope you have a great day today. Consider supporting me on Patreon. Do take care of yourself and your community first. You can subscribe to me on all the social medias, even though I don't do much there. And I'll talk to you sometime later.